know I've been kind of a broken record lately talking about how important it is for us to release emotions. Emotions which are usually tied to the past, although what happens in the present is what triggers. And that's because, oh boy, have I been forced to finally get this stuff out. And I learned something interesting about the process in the last few days. So when this thing happened, my daughter was home on one of her days off from work. And I let out a scream that felt like it started at my toes and kind of ripped everything out on its way out my mouth. She said she had never heard a blood-curdling scream like that other than in the movies. She was freaked out. And what I learned was that this incident happened because there are things I have to release before I can move along on whatever this mission is I'm supposed to be moving into. As I end a cycle, please, 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 I hope it's ended. Because it's been a challenging 10 years. Here's the interesting thing. Apparently the universe has been trying to get me to release enough for a while now. And I've had a lot of tower moments. Things that just made me feel like I'd been punched in the gut over and over. But because I have been so good at being stoic and rolling with the punches and just dealing, none of those things have gotten me to release. So let's just say things were escalated because I was such a big girl about everything. And if this hadn't done it, it would have been worse. And if that hadn't done it, it would have been worse still. You guys, when we make the universe intervene and force our hands at this stuff, it's not pretty. I can't even imagine how I would have survived the worse and worse. So I'm glad I finally managed to release what I needed to. And I'm sure there's still plenty there. But this was like something so deep, so buried. It was a primal scream of loss and hurt. So yeah, I'm a broken record, but that's because I don't want you to be me. I don't want you to feel like I do when the universe decides to step in. If we would just do the work voluntarily, release those emotions, it would be a lot easier on us. Wasn't planning on saying this, but I do offer sessions called Trinity Healing, and a large part of that is the way of releasing pent-up emotions that Spirit gave me when I was doing it separately as freedom of release. Honestly, I wasn't planning to say that, but okay. It just really is necessary to get rid of those emotions because they are tied to our stories of trauma in the past. And really, to move forward, we don't want to be hauling around those old stories from the past. But the emotions are stuck. The story is stuck. And it gets complicated. It gets all the more challenging the longer we hold on to it. So please consider, eking a little bit out when it looks like you've been handed an opportunity so you don't have to go to this full-blown traumatic forcing like I just went through, because it wasn't fun. It still hurts, but at least I have my shit together a little better today. We don't want to be all full up of that kind of feeling. Why are we holding on to it? It feels like crap, doesn't it? And if we can't figure out what we need to release in a gentler way, Spirit's going to give us a not so gentle way. It turns out that the soul that was involved in this trigger was in a soul contract with me, had agreed to give me this experience. And of course, there would be something to be learned for that soul also. But it's not for me to speak to that, I don't believe. So remember, as much as we want to hate people that trigger us, they are doing us a favor. Because it's for our best, it's for our highest good if we get this stuff out. Because when you vacate space, you get to choose what comes in. And you're not going to choose more pain and suffering and trauma. You're going to choose love. The energy of love in whatever form sounds good. Doesn't that sound better than that other crap? I think so anyway. But see, I was too stoic, which is why I have been encouraging people to quit being so stoic. It's almost like stepping over the line to Spirit and saying, I dare you. Well, we're not really a match. We're not really competition unless our egos want to be jerking us around when they tell us that. We don't want to be saying, show me, prove it, because it'll come. So let's try to avoid that kind of stuff. Isn't there enough coming our way without encouraging more? Alright, I'm sorry about this weird line in my glasses. But it's hot here and I didn't want to get out from under the gazebo. Talk to you guys later. It might be another run of that broken record. Because this is important to me. I'm passionate about this more than anything. Because I know until we clear this stuff out, we're not going to be moving toward living our bliss. And that's what we're all supposed to be moving toward. Alright, enough of me